Alright. Well, I lied in my last video. This is not the same day. Actually haven't even uploaded that video yet, so they might come out on the same day. But, do an update on this truck, where it's at, what it needs, yada yada. Yeah. So, I'm not really too sure what was in the last videos. I haven't watched them for a while, but, so I'm just gonna wing it. I don't think I had steering on in the last video, so I got my off-road design steering, switched to two-wheel drive box, and got their drop pitman arm. I had to get a drag link. I had the tie rod from the 89, but I used all this stuff on the 99. So, plus the drag link is a different length on that truck. So, still need to make my mount for my Panhard bar. Yeah, it's really all for suspension steering. The motor's in here, clearly. Might have better lighting if I go to the other side of the truck. So the motor's in here, the motor from the 89's in here. Yeah, there's nothing about it. There's nothing special. One issue that, or the issue I ran into is the truck here is a 91, so it's a throttle body, but it's a big block throttle body. So I was hoping that the harnesses would match from throttle body to throttle body, which technically the throttle body harness matches, but nothing else does. So I'm actually did it last night. I just didn't put it through yet. I'm just gonna get a standalone harness, like $265. Yeah, and I went and pulled the ECM out of the 89, so it'll be like, I think it's like 10 plugs total, and it'll just be a turnkey ready to go. So nothing special. That'll take care of that. So hopefully I'll have this thing running in no time. I guess another issue that I kind of forgot about, I had shorty headers on this motor. They didn't clear the frame. I mean, it was for an 89, so it was in a different frame, but on top of it not clearing the frame, even if it did, or I clearanced the frame for it, my hydraulic clutch here on my 4-speed, yeah, wasn't gonna fit. So, I know of where a set of headers are. I'm gonna try to throw them on here, see if they fit or not. If not, my buddy has a set of like center, center shorty headers that he used with his hydraulic 4-speed. So I'll end up getting that if it comes down to it. But I'm gonna try to put some full length headers on here first. Two-wheel drive 4-speed is in. Made a cross brace for it already. Nothing fancy. New clutch, new flywheel, new clutch. I like new stuff. I hate putting old stuff together and hoping that it works and then finding out that it doesn't. So, but that's in there. See that piece of wood there? Actually had an issue when we were bringing this thing back to my house. That's what was under my transmission, and it snapped in half and dropped the motor backwards, and now I got to get a distributor too. But add it to the list, whatever. Now this truck does have a 2-inch body lift on it, but even with the 2-inch body lift, this being a 2-wheel drive cab, because this isn't the factory cab, it was replaced. You can see where the original hole was. Now I had to cut it all the way up there. I'm going to clean that up some, so don't judge me quite yet. And The stick fits. I'll have to find a ball somewhere, but nothing else really changed inside the truck. The only other thing I did was put the bed on, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably watched the videos of me when I shortened my frame, and I'll let it be known that everything lined up perfect. So we put the bed on, kind of eyeballed it, and dropped the bolts straight through the holes that were already in the frame. So I got something right. I did something right. Pretty good clearance. The rear is gonna have to come up a little higher yet. You can't tell because there isn't a front fender on, but 2-inch blocks, 3-inch blocks, something like that. I think 4 will be too much. I do prefer a little bit of sag, but it's a little too much for me at the moment, considering these tires would just completely destroy these bedsides if I flexed at all. So that's really about all there is. Just figured I'd get a video up because a lot of stuff's about to happen here. I guess I could do one more thing here. The next step here, now that the transmission is in, you see that exhaust hanger? There's 2 rivets holding that on, and then on this side there's 2. You see I started cutting it. I gotta pop them off, and then I can sit my transfer case cradle on top of the frame, mark some holes, drill some holes, and I'll have the transfer case in here, and then I'll be able to order my drive shafts. And once the drive shafts are ordered, I got a bunch of little stuff between reshimming the front axle because it's got too high of a degree on it now. I'm gonna have to drop it down a little. Once the drive shafts come, I can get the rear set because it's not even welded. The perches aren't welded or nothing right now. They're just sitting on there with bolts holding it all together. So a lot of stuff's gonna go really fast. Then I get to the fun part of running new brake lines, and I have to get some sort of fuel tank or fuel cell. Still have the fuel lines, so I'll just have to run them up, probably run them up in the bed, hopefully with a 10-gallon fuel cell or something, nothing crazy. Or I'll just use an old gas tank, I don't give a shit really. But yeah, between brake lines, fuel lines, little stuff here and there. This truck's really not all that far from being done. Of course, I'll still have to get some fenders. I have inner fenders. Everything needs cleaned up and painted, but the definite goal for the year is to have this thing at Bloomsburg driving around, and then I'm gonna beat the living shit out of this thing sometime this year. I don't know when, but before I go through all the trouble of painting it, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna leave it how it is for a while because I just think it has a shit ton of character. Plus, even though I've had this truck for almost 3 years now, I still have absolutely zero idea of how I want to paint it. So I figure I'll get it done and it'll come to me. But it's just an update video for you guys, and I'll try to get another one up before I go to Bloomsburg, and maybe I'll even try to get another camera here instead of using my phone. But it is what it is for now, and I think that's all I got for you, so stay tuned. Hopefully things will be really happening here quick.